I know the struggle of trying to put on some muscle size, but at the same time being really active and having a really fast metabolism. It's like no matter what you eat, you just can't gain any weight, but it is possible. You have to find out exactly how many calories you need, and if you're anything like me, that's probably a lot more than most calorie calculators will tell you. Then you need to identify the high calorie foods and the meals that you can eat consistently. If you don't like a certain food, then it's going to be hard to stick with it, even if it would really help your bulk. And then you need to put it all together into an eating plan. So number one, how many calories do you need? And you can start by using a calorie calculator. These use your height, your weight, and your activity level to estimate your maintenance calories, and then it will add a few hundred calories on top of that depending on how fast you want to gain weight. Track your calories very strictly and very honestly. Use something like MyFitnessPal and be very diligent with your tracking. Every time I've plateaued in my weight gain, despite thinking that I'm eating like so much food, when I actually look at the data, I just haven't been eating enough calories. You've got to be really honest with yourself. You probably think that you're eating loads of food and you couldn't possibly eat anymore, but track your calories for like a few weeks alongside your body weight and you will see whether what you're eating is enough to move the scale. The most reliable way for you to figure out how many calories you need is to count your calories that you eat alongside tracking your body weight. So if you're eating like 3,000 calories a day but your weight isn't going up, then 3,000 calories isn't a surplus for you and you need to add like another 100 calories and then see if your weight starts going up again. Number two, the best foods for gaining weight. I'll give you a list of foods and a couple simple meals that will help you. I definitely don't recommend dirty bulking. I think you should eat whole foods and get all the nutrients that your body needs. And once you've got all the vitamins and minerals that you need, then you can add whatever other foods you need to keep gaining weight. So here's a list of foods that will help you gain weight. Oats, peanut butter, nuts and seeds. A handful of mixed nuts is like 200 calories. A handful of sunflower seeds is also like 200 calories. And those are easy little snacks that you can have between meals. You got double cream or heavy cream as you Americans call it, whole milk, butter, olive oil or other cooking fats. Butter and olive oil I would say are the best. Coconut oil is also pretty good. Ghee is another good one. When you buy your meat, try and get fattier cuts, so like 20% ground beef or mince, chicken thighs instead of chicken breasts, and if you have steak, then fattier steaks like ribeye. Fatty fish like salmon are also really good, and rice is probably the best staple carbohydrate for bulking. Personally, I prefer potatoes, but rice is less filling and more calorie dense, so you can get more calories in with rice generally, but potatoes are more nutrient dense, and that's why I prefer them. And I'll give you three simple recipes that you can use to help you gain weight. First one is a bulking smoothie, and this is what took me from about 76 kilos up to like 83 kilos in combination with the next meal that I'm going to tell you. So put about 60 grams of oats into like your blender cup, 1 banana, 80 grams of berries, I like frozen mixed berries, a tablespoon of peanut butter, a tablespoon of honey, and then at least like 300 milliliters of whole milk. I fill it up to the max line on my blender. You might not need that much milk, but just enough to get a nice smooth texture once you blend it all up. You can also add protein powder and creatine if you want to. Your guts might not be happy with you, but you will gain weight if you drink this every day. This is about 1,000 calories. Takes you about 10 minutes to drink it, but you can do it faster or slower. At first, drinking this made me want to throw up because it is a lot of liquid, but I got used to it after like a few weeks and it's no problem now. That might sound a bit extreme, but ask yourself how serious you are about getting bigger and then decide if you're up to it. The next meal is porridge or an oatmeal, especially for bulking. So you take like 60 grams of oats and then like 300 milliliters of milk, or enough to make the porridge creamy and smooth, so not super runny and not solid either. A bit runny is better because we're also going to add 1 tablespoon of peanut butter, which is going to thicken up the porridge a bit and add a load of calories, and then 1 tablespoon of honey, which makes it taste amazing, a handful of sunflower seeds, and you mix all of that together. So first you make the porridge like in a saucepan on the stovetop, and then you add the peanut butter, the honey, and the sunflower seeds afterwards. And optionally you could add like sliced banana and some berries for extra flavor and nutrients, and it tastes really good. This is at least like 600 to 800 calories, and currently I have one main staple meal that I have for 2 meals a day, and I make this as a batch which makes 4 meals. It contains 4 medium-sized potatoes. You peel them, chop them into small cubes, and then soften them by boiling them for like 5 minutes, and then you saute them on the pan with like some olive oil or ghee or goose fat or whatever you want to use. And while that's sauteing in the pan, if you've got another pan, put 1 kilogram of 20% beef mince or ground beef into this pan and saute that with some oil, and use whatever seasonings you want. And you divide that up into 4 meals containing 250 grams of beef mince in each meal, which is about 700 calories, and 1 medium potato, which adds another like 200 or so calories. I usually eat 1 portion straight away, and then I put the other 3 meals in glass Tupperware. With each portion I take some fresh veggies. I don't like cooking every single meal, so some salad veggies like arugula or rocket works perfectly because you can eat it raw. And I sometimes have kale or spinach, but you need to boil those to reduce the anti-nutrient content of those leafy greens. So arugula or rocket works for me because it saves time because you don't need to cook it. Each of those meals is about 1,000 calories, and I usually have 2 of those a day. And if you're eating 2 of those meals a day, that's 500 grams or a pound of ground beef every day. And so you're not going to need to worry about protein. You'll definitely be getting enough. One thing I will mention is you need to get enough fiber in your diet, because otherwise this much protein will make you constipated. Unfortunately, I'm speaking from experience. You definitely need to eat some leafy greens like some apples, some other fruit or vegetable like with skin on it that has fiber in it. That will help prevent constipation, because the combination of high protein and low fiber is not a good recipe. But if you're having one of the other 2 meals I mentioned, like the smoothie or the porridge, the oats should provide enough fiber to prevent constipation, hopefully. But definitely make sure you're getting enough fruit and vegetables. And number 3 is making your daily eating plan. So let's say you need 3,000 calories a day. Split that up into 3 or 4 meals. So for breakfast, I'll have something like eggs on toast with a bowl of porridge and some fruit. That's easily 1,000 calories. You could add, bacon or sausages and avocado, take that up to more like 1,500 calories. And then for lunch and dinner, I have about 1,000 calorie meal like the one I talked about earlier. And for extra calories, you can have handfuls of nuts between meals, like cheese, yogurt, other fruit. Honey is great. Like I mentioned earlier, I really recommend prioritizing nutrient-dense food like meat, eggs, dairy, fruit and vegetables, instead of junk food like McDonald's, pizza, cake, and that kind of stuff, because that's basically just empty calories without really any nutritional value. So you should definitely eat as healthy as you can. I've used the meals that I mentioned to get up to like 4,000 calories a day, and beyond that, if you're really struggling to eat healthily, then you can, add in a little bit of like junk food to reach your calorie goals. That's definitely not an excuse to get sloppy and eat like a pig. You definitely want to keep at least 80% of your diet healthy, get all your micronutrients. You should watch my video about micronutrients to see what foods you should be eating to get all your vitamins and minerals. I hope these 3 things helped you. These are the meals and the foods that I've used to help me gain about 15 kilograms or like 30 pounds of mostly lean mass over the last few years. I started very skinny and I'm now at least a respectable size. If you're like a fighter or you do some other sport that burns a lot of calories, or you just have a really fast metabolism, I know how hard it can be to get those calories in. And despite how much you might think that you're eating, be very honest with yourself, track very accurately, and you'll probably see that you're not eating as much as you think. And the things that I told you in this video should help you to actually reach the calorie goals that you need to be hitting in order to gain weight. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.